Today I want to talk about how I got into a VP role and how did it all start. I started my journey in the corporate world back in 2006 and I became a VP in 2018. So in 12 years, I moved from an engineer, senior engineer, manager, director. And then actually I took a step back and I went from a director to a senior manager and then a director stretch role, and then I moved to a VP role. But what are some common themes to how I progressed in my career? The biggest theme is do not focus on the title. I think that's the biggest mistake I did at some point in my career, and honestly, I was focused on the wrong thing. I was focused on the title and the promotion versus the impact, the influence, and the growth. Every promotion I got was because I was focused on the right things. I was focused on making an impact, influence, fixing things, making things better without really focusing on, will this get me the next promotion? That's a question I get asked all the time, especially by my mentees. I want to get more authority. Of course, promotions and higher roles come with authority, with more responsibilities, but that's not what makes a leader. If you're focused on wanting to get more authority, then I will tell you this is the wrong focus and you will not be a successful leader. A successful leader focuses on impact, on efficiency, on increasing productivity, on fixing things. I mean, in tech, we often inherit legacy code bases, and you could not like it, complain, or you could do something about it. The common theme for every promotion is curiosity. I feel like I was always curious about the problem, how we got there, curious about the big picture, and understanding the business aspect of it and how fixing the problem might impact that business positively or negatively. Going back to legacy code bases, refactoring a legacy code base might actually end up hurting the business. So understanding the impact of something that you feel is a problem is very important, and understanding how to figure out the best approach to solving a problem. As I got promoted throughout my career to different levels of positions, I was focused on identifying opportunities, identifying things that have become a challenge for engineers or for our customers or for us delivering the best quality of code, and looking at ways to make it better. The goal in mind was never a title or a promotion or a salary increase or any of that. I would just go into a company and realize, well, the way we're doing this is wasting everyone's time, it's manual, and there's a way we can automate it. So I would rally everyone around a couple of solutions and we'll start discussing them and maybe prototype them, and then get people's buy-in on trying it. It's all small steps, and all of a sudden 6 months later, like you even forget that you had this problem to start with. What opened up so many doors for me is focusing on fixing things versus complaining about them. This is the advice that I give my mentees all the time. If there's something that you dislike so much to the point where it's impacting the way you deliver, then fix it. But fix it without complaining. Having a positive attitude. Yeah, I'm gonna look at this as a challenge and I'm gonna figure out how to make it better. And I'm not gonna do it in silo, and I'm gonna keep a broader perspective than mine, because there might be reasons why the company or your team ended up doing things the way that they are. I go also back to the bigger business picture. What does it mean for the business? Not just what does it mean for me as an engineer or for my team. What does fixing this problem mean to the company? Does it mean that we're going to delay certain projects that we've already marketed and we've already been talking about to our customers? Then that's not the right time. Or maybe that's not the right approach. Maybe we can deliver tiny wins until they become major wins. But it's not justifiable that we stop delivering customer value because we want to solve for this problem. The second most important thing is don't look for these problems. Don't look for problems to solve with the intention of finding a problem to solve. Those problems should stand out to you. Those problems should be in your daily life or your team's daily life. If you get so many bugs in your code releases, then that's an obvious problem. But I'm not going to look for a gap in a code base or in a process so I can fix it, so I can bring impact, so I can get promoted. That is the wrong way of looking at things. The problem will stand out to you. Maybe identify the things that makes you unhappy at work. Maybe that's a great way to start. Or identify the things that makes your team unhappy at work or makes your stakeholders unhappy. And those are the problems that you can address, but don't go looking for problems to solve for. In 2018, I get this call from someone asking me to speak to the CTO of ActiveCampaign. I wasn't looking for a job at that time, but I never say no to meeting great leaders in tech or in any other sector. I'm always up for meeting, for talking about what they're doing in their lives, and you never know when or what could come out of these conversations. I ended up meeting the CTO. We talked about my experience. He invited me to come to the office and speak to his leadership team. We started talking about some of the challenges that they're facing. I gave some ideas or recommendations based on my past experiences and based on things that I read about or learn about from other tech leaders. The next conversation was them offering me a job. I really enjoyed the team. I loved the work and the challenges. I look at challenges as something that's so intriguing. I love the word transformation. I would rather use the word transformation than challenges because we're constantly evolving and transforming, especially tech companies. Everything is changing like super quick. So we have to be comfortable with pivoting and just transforming the way we do things. Because like I said, processes change, tools change between one year and another, languages, stacks, everything is constantly changing. So my passion is really about doing transformation work, going into a company and understanding their biggest pain points and their biggest challenges and talking to everyone in the organization. I never offer solutions right away. I like to talk to different stakeholders in the company, not just in technology, understanding how do they fit into these challenges that the tech organization is experiencing, and then coming up with a proposal for how we can solve for it and getting people to rally around that, to get excited about it and shift their perspective from, oh my God, this sucks, I don't know how to solve it, this is the worst part of my job, to, oh, maybe we can do this and that, and I think this will be beneficial, and so forth. It shifts the culture, it shifts the mindset from a limited mindset where you're constantly talking about challenges and problems to talking about possibilities. It really gets people so excited, especially if you give them milestones, and those milestones are achievable within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and you're giving constant statuses and ways to celebrate those wins. Then all of a sudden in 6 months or a year, people would even forget that they went through these challenges in the first place. But that's what I love to do. I think that's what opened up the door for me to get into the VP role and bring the most impact and influence that I can. Is it enough to do all this work? I think most of the time your work speaks for itself. But there are cases, it depends on the size of the company, people in the company, and whether they celebrate each other's wins or don't. There are companies, unfortunately, where people might feel that they need to put other people down so they can shine. So you don't have a lot of advocates that are sharing your efforts, the impact that you bring to the company. And that's when I say it's not about self-promotion, but it's about sharing your accomplishments in a way where it's not about showing off, it's not about putting anyone down. It's really about being your own advocate. You want to share your accomplishment with your boss, of course, the work that you've done, because sometimes they might not see the efforts that go into something. They might just see the results without understanding that you might have spent hours and hours thinking about it, that you might have stayed up late trying to research other technologies that could potentially solve for that problem. So self-advocacy is important, not just with your boss, with your peers, with cross-functional leaders as well, and doing it for the purpose of sharing, of communicating what's happening in your department. So the purpose is never to show off or put anyone down or stealing somebody else's work. That's an absolute no. It never works in the long run, and you lose people's respect. In my own opinion, integrity and your reputation in any company is the most important thing that you take with you for many different roles in the future. It's so important, and I want to put like 2 lines under integrity and honesty. Another thing I want to talk about is that when you go from a manager to a senior manager to a director, senior director, or VP, you're not increasing your workload. You're changing your workload. That's something that also comes up with my mentees often. If you're going from a senior manager to a director role, you might have more reports, you might have more responsibilities, but that's not just it. Your role is also changing. You're going from tactical into more a strategic role. Now you're partnering with the VP or with cross-functional directors. Are there opportunities where we can serve the business better? Are there opportunities where we can serve business leaders in the company better? Are there opportunities where we can engage with our customers in a different way? Are there opportunities where we can scale our platform or our technology in the long term? Are there things that we need to keep an eye on if we reach certain milestones? Are there things that we need to be prepared for? Are there single points of failures in the platform that we need to address? Are there cultural challenges that are faced by other leaders in the company, and maybe we're able to partner on solving for them because culture is very important? Are there a repetition of the same mistakes and we're just not addressing the root cause of these mistakes? So you go from execution and from tactical mindset into more of strategical mindset. You have to shift the way you look at things so you can see these things. When you start pulling yourself out of the tactical, you know what you do? You end up creating opportunities for your team members to get to the next level, because now you're pulling yourself out of the tactical so you can focus on the strategy. But that means a lot of your team members now have opportunities to step up and take on some of the tasks that you were doing before, preparing them for that next step in their career path. I always talk about win-wins, and those are the best win-wins, where everyone is preparing their reports to get to the next level. I mean, it's truly a win-win for everyone. My summary is, first, your goal should never be the title. It should always be the impact. Second, curiosity is one of the most important things that would help propel you in your career path. Shifting your mindset from limitation mindset, like I hate this about my job, to possibilities. This is a great opportunity for me to figure out how to solve for this challenge. 4, go from tactical mindset into strategical mindset as you progress in your career path. It's not about doing more of the same thing, but it's about doing different things at the next level. The last one is being your own advocate, sharing and communicating the efforts, the accomplishments, celebrating all of these with your boss, your peers, and with your teams. I'm going to add a 6th one. The 6th one is integrity. Never steal anyone's work. To the contrary, celebrate everyone's contributions, advice, and efforts that they've put into a plan that you worked on. It should all be about being that leader, stepping up to make things better, to solve for things, to transform things, which again is my favorite word. In my tech career, transformation is the work that I love to do, that I love getting people excited about. I see the impact of doing transformation work in companies all the time. I love it, and I'm very passionate about it. Now, if you're interested in becoming one of my mentees, drop me a comment below and I'll get back to you. It's a program I'm currently working on. I've been mentoring people for the last 10 years and I love it. I love mentoring emerging leaders, people who want to get into people leadership or want to get to the next level in their career as people leaders, specifically tech leaders. So if you're interested in becoming one of my mentees, drop me a comment and we'll talk about it.